Recording in progress.
It's time again for Smoky Mountain Rewatch Along Project. This is podcasting the way it used to be and the way you like it. This show is a production of the Something Else Podcasting Network, and it is episode number 110 of Smoky Mountain Wrestling from March 5th, 1994, taped February 7th, 1994, at the Jellicoe High School in Jellicoe, Tennessee. My name is Arya. And joining me, as always today, is the Robbie Eagle to my Larry Santo. It's Trae. Trae, how the hell you doing today?
I'm of the two of us, I'm the former champion.
Well, I think it's important to note that, even though you and I may bicker sometimes, we may fight sometimes, it's important that we come together for a common goal against a common enemy. I don't know who our common enemy is, but our common goal is to succeed in this podcast. Much like how Robbie Eagle and El Hijo del Santo formed a team this week after just wrestling each other 2 weeks ago for the Beat the Champ TV title.
I think Robbie Eagles and El Hijo del Santo would be a much better tag team.
Yeah, yes, we've had that discussion a couple times.
No, we talked about them wrestling each other. We never talked about them being a tag team. This is entirely new ground.
All right, Trae. In that case, what would be better? Robbie Eagle and Larry Santo, 1994 Robbie Eagles and El Hijo del Santo, or 2025 Robbie Eagles and El Hijo del Santo?
All the above.
Great. All right. So, yeah, we're 110 episodes in, and I got a spoiler for you, Trae, when it comes to This Week in Pro Wrestling. This week in pro wrestling, nothing happens. I think Dave is sick. Yeah. He didn't have an issue this week.
Oh, poor Dave.
Yes. Sorry, Dave. Hope you feel better 31 and a half years ago.
Hope we didn't get appendicitis again.
Yes. Anyway, let's go to the intro of this week's show with Bob Caudle and Dutch Mantel.
Welcome, and it's time again for Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Professional wrestling the way it used to be, and the way you like it. Hi there, fans. I'm Bob Caudle, along with Dr. Dirty Dutch Mantel. Dutch, we got a good, exciting hour for all our wrestling fans this week. We're going to take a look at some of the six-man tag action that last week. I'm telling you, that was something. We got a startling announcement, too, from the Rock and Roll Express pertaining to that. That was really a wild one, fans. We're going to take a look at some workout videos of the Dirty White Girl and Tammy Fytch. Now, that ought to be exciting. Yes, we're going to take a video look, too, at the Thrillseekers. You know, that's the
new team coming in.
Yes, our new team, former Canadian Tag Champions. A new team that are just tremendous. Our main event, Dr. Tom Prichard will take on Tracy Smothers.
Excellent main event. Now, we got some insanity going on in the Beat the Champ contest. We have a man called the Hornet. That's the champion. Today, I'm going to draw his opponent right here, and let's see who the Hornet faces today. Oh, the Dirty White Boy will face the Hornet today. Beat the Champ contest, Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Well, the Hornet better sharpen that stinger, that's for sure, Dutch. All right, fans, we're about ready. Let's go to the ring.
You know, Trae, that's huge. We're going to have the two top singles champions in the company go one-on-one today.
Yeah, that biggest match in company history. Has never happened before, has it?
No. And Dirty White Boy is essentially the linear Beat the Champ TV champion because if you remember, he forfeited the belt, or he forfeited the title back after Primetime Brian Lee beat up Mr. Ron Wright. And I guess technically we have
Yeah.
had the two top champions wrestle each other because that's when Primetime Brian Lee was the Smoky Mountain champion. So this doesn't happen often, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I got to tell you, I was disappointed in one thing.
What's that?
I was disappointed that Chris Candido didn't drag Dirty White Boy out to the podium. Got a promo.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Oh Lord.
Uh,
But yeah, we're gonna see a video of the former Canadian tag team champions, the Thrillseekers, this week. And
oh
yes,
boy.
a,
Do we?
as we hoped last week would happen, we're gonna have a training video of Tammy Fytch, and also another one of Dirty
Yeah.
White Girl. And
Yes, we are.
we'll see what your thoughts are on your girl's video.
I
I
can't
think
wait.
I think White Boy has some his work cut out for him. Oh Lord. So anyway, and the main event today is of course Dr. Tom Prichard versus Tracy Smothers.
Sounds like a good match on paper.
I thought it was a good match in execution too.
It was. It was a good match. A lot of shit happened and it kind of got away from me, but yeah, it was well worked.
Indeed. Well, Pat Rose hit the trifecta this week
Yes.
after
Yes.
teasing it last. Um, and our double champ.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He is the first person to wrestle on all three shows on the same week, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right. We if anyone else ever completes the trifecta, that will be known as the Pat Rose Award.
Mind you, a lot of people have done two shows because I mean, it ain't that fucking hard, guys, to have them wrestle
Yeah.
both Mid South and World Class the same week.
It's funny because George Weingroff has been on all three shows, but not on the same week.
That's what I was thinking of. Like, who was it that showed up here that's usually on Mid South? But yeah,
Yeah,
Weingroff was not on World Class that week.
I miss him. We haven't seen him in forever. Hello?
Hello? Hello, Trae, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't for a second. Were you? Yeah, I can hear you now.
I, I, I don't know why my stupid fucking headset decided to be stupid there for a second. Um,
Headsets like to be stupid.
yeah. Um, and yeah, I'm getting all these notifications that my speaker and my microphone keep changing. Are you
Oh, that's
hearing me
annoying.
just fine? Yeah.
I'm hearing you just fine now.
Okay, let's see how long this goes before it drives me up the fucking wall. So at Golden Week 94, Tracy and Chris Candido are going to have this newfangled thing called a ladder match. I don't know about you, Trae, but
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like something that's going to get over.
No, it's not gonna be. They're not gonna have whole pay-per-views themed around it or anything.
No, no, that plus, it pay-per-view, like, come on, they only do like four or five of them a year in most companies.
Yeah.
Candido won with a top rope splash. I think he was trying to go for a diving headbutt, but dove too far. What did you think?
I don't know. I didn't think anything of it because it's Candido, so it looked really good. And I don't want to shock you, but Chris Candido had a better match with Pat Rose than Max did.
Say what? Trae,
But yeah, I don't know. I didn't. Yeah,
you turned
I
my
didn't
life
really think
upside down
anything of it.
face.
It's not my fault. It's turned your life upside down, face. But yeah, it may have been a correction, but it was a very good correction.
Now, did you see the new match AEW has announced for tomorrow for Dynamite?
The Heroes and
yesterday,
Villains
as
one.
everyone is listening. Yes, it's
Yeah, it looks fun.
Bandito, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong versus Takeshita and the Bucks of Youth. I'll be
That
honest.
sounds like
Hmm?
one of them banger 6-man tags the kids talk about these days.
I'll be honest. It may not be as good as Survivor Heroes versus Villains. That was a great season of Survivor.
Oh, my mother loves Survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna stop. What? I'm gonna work hard. What? I know that just took things in a really different direction.
Uh,
How does one go from Talk of the Young Bucks to singing Destiny's Child?
that's probably not the weirdest transition on these shows this week.
Probably not. All right. So while we try to figure that out, let's go to Chris Candido, who has something to say.
Match now. That's what Smoky Mountain Wrestling has moved you to.
Bob Cole there in Golden Week 94. Smoky Mountain Wrestling has done it to me again. I proved that was not a joke when I gave Tracy Smothers his 85th concussion. When I threw a bucket of water over his stupid head. When I beat him for the TV title and proved that he was Vito Marinara from Pennsylvania. Now, they've tried to make a fool of me again. He stole my money, but I got it back. I don't need this match, Bob. I don't need the money. It's already back with its rightful owner. But during Golden Week, we got this ladder match. They got a ladder outside the ring. $2,500 hanging above the ring. You gotta get your guy knocked out. Drag that ladder in the ring, put it up, and get that money. I'm gonna get it. It's gonna be mine.
All right, fans, you heard that from Chris Candido. The ladder match. We're going to be back right after this.
So it's $2,500 that's going to be on the line in this ladder match. Who is putting up the $2,500? Is it the loser has to pay $2,500? Is Smoky Mountain putting it up? I mean, if that's how you get a match for a decent amount of money in Smoky Mountain, I just, work an angle with my friend and go, hey, let's pretend to be mad at each other and, bet $5,000 a couple times, and then Smoky Mountain will just give one of us $5,000.
Well, Pam hadn't had an office fuck up in a while, so maybe she signed off on that one and didn't know what she was doing.
I mean, now that Bob's back in as the commissioner, that's how it happened last time with it getting all fucked up with Kevin
Yeah.
Sullivan's therapy bills.
You notice
I
none of
do.
that, nothing like that happened when Cornette was commissioner.
Nope. That was an epic 7 days.
Sure was.
Nor did something like that happen when we didn't have a commissioner. Because it's not like, oh,
No.
we had an interim commissioner while they're looking for Bullet Bob's replacement. We just didn't have a commissioner and things went pretty well. I think if anything, that should prove that we don't need Bullet Bob as commissioner.
I'm having a hard time coming up with a counter argument. Other than
Well,
I like when he cuts promos, and I like that he can wrestle if he needs to now.
yes. We'll see how long we like that because I honestly towards the end of next year I start getting sick of Bullet Bob, to be honest.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll see. I think that was also because the end of Smoky Mountain is just a really rough couple months. I did love, and this is a total heel thing to say, but Candido saying that him beating Tracy for the TV title was proof that Tracy was really Vito Marinara from Schuylkill Haven, PA.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he got there, but
Hey,
interesting perspective.
he got a concussion from having water poured over his head too. So what can you say? Um, I got I gotta say, we were wondering why Tracy was so mad about that. Well, he apparently got a concussion from water. I
That
think
must have been is that what hard water is? Water that gives you a concussion if somebody pours it on your head?
apparently. I hope when Tracy passed away, they checked his brain for CTE.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Just in general,
Our-
just all wrestlers.
mhm. So we had some big news up next. They showed a recap of last week's six-man tag, and then they announced. And keep in mind, we're still in the middle of the build to the Bluegrass, or not to the Bluegrass Ball, but to Golden Week. They announced it at the second annual Bluegrass Brawl coming up. I think they said on April 1st, too. It's going to be the
Yeah,
Rock and Roll Express versus the Heavenly Bodies in a cage match for the Smoky Mountain Tag Team titles. And the losing team has to leave Smoky Mountain Wrestling forever.
forever.
Forever and ever and ever, except for, one shot in August, and then they come back in August of 95.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other than that, never.
Forever is a long time,
Yeah.
So from here, we were going to pitch it to a Bullet Bob promo. And I'll be honest, at first I thought that I was having tech issues with my video file, but nope, it was what you're going to see is on purpose, or what you're going to hear is on purpose. Let's go to Bullet Bob right now.
You know, everybody I talk to is talking about Golden Week 94. It's the biggest event so far promoted in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. They've had some big...
Well, what? Get the camera back on! Get the camera back on! You come over here! Get over here! Wait a minute! Get over here! You're the complaint, Jimmy. Hey, I don't believe Turn that camera back on! Hey, what? You morons! Shut up, Tom! Wait a minute, I'm so upset! You morons didn't hear what they just tried to put over on us! They have signed a match with the Heavenly Bodies of the Rock and Roll Express where the losers have to leave Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
It's got to be a winner and there's going to be a loser. Somebody's going to leave.
I know exactly who's at the root of this. Bob Armstrong's been on me ever since day one. He's always been against my men. He did this to me a year ago. The Rock and Roll Express, they've been greasing all these palms all over Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I'm sick and tired of this conspiracy, and especially inside a steel cage to have a losing... Jimmy.
You know what I think, Jim? I think that if you want to talk about the word conspiracy, I think Bob Armstrong, I think Smoky Mountain Wrestling, I think the Rock and Roll Express only have one thing in mind, and that is to undermine Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies. But I can tell you what, it doesn't matter who you want, it doesn't matter what you want, because when you want to get down and you want to talk about nasty, we don't care what it is. We beat you every time we've seen you, and we can beat you this time too. Let me explain one thing right now. Rock and Roll Express, all you've done this time is signed your own death warrant. Because last time, you got one over on me. You and Bob Armstrong and all the board of directors, you got rid of Stan Lane. But this time, it's you and the bodies inside a steel cage. And I realize what you're trying to do. I realize what you're trying to do. Yeah. You're trying to hornswoggle us for the last time and get us out of here because you know that we're the only ones you're afraid of. Well, it ain't gonna work. April 1st in Pikeville, Kentucky at that Bluegrass Brawl. It will be, finally, the day that I've longed for, the day that I've hoped for, the day that I have wished for lo, these long 10 years. It will be the day the music dies because the Rock and Roll Express will finally be out of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. We gotta figure something out. All right.
What?
Can you imagine what Smoky Mountain's going to be like without the Rock and Roll Express?
I sure can't.
I sure can't.
I just can't imagine such a thing.
Yeah. We're going to have to move the Thrillseekers up to the number one babyface tag team position.
That's a big
Yeah,
spot. I hope they don't do anything stupid to fuck it up.
No. And I mean, they haven't even made it to TV yet. And they're all going to be the top babyface tag team.
How about that? Well, maybe they'll be on TV before April 1st.
There we go. Now, there was some tragic news reported during that promo, or tragic news to report while that promo was happening. I guess we're never going to have another Beat the Champ. Jimmy Del Rey was ripping up the Beat the Champ hat.
They probably just get another hat.
I guess, but can Smoky Mountain afford to keep buying hats for Dutch to pull names out of?
Well, Commissioner Bab Armstrong, he's got a lot of hats. He said he wears a lot of hats. That's his whole thing. He
That
could
is
give
true.
us one to draw the Beat the Champ.
That is true. Hopefully, Bob is nice enough to give one before next week.
Yeah.
Now don't feel bad because that same Bullet Bob promo is going to get aired later on the show.
Everybody in this was fantastic, including Jimmy, who was just was upset, visibly. He didn't say anything, but the body language tremendous.
I'm wondering why the Heavenly Bodies were so sweaty.
Well, Jimmy probably went around with a rat under the bleachers right before they cut the promo. I don't know about Tom. I'm sure Tom did fine for himself.
Hopefully. I mean, and at least they're saving money on rats because, I mean, like we said, when Stan was here, they were flying rats in from Florida. And even if you're making the big bucks, that's eventually going to run up the costs.
I bet you it was the two girls that Lance and Jericho were too good for.
I thought it would be the two girls who won the Super Date at the Superdome.
I wonder how they aged. It'd be 10 years later.
Hmm. I mean, they had to be at least 18, so they have to be at least 28
Yeah.
to be flown in with Stan.
Yeah, one of them has a 9-year-old that has a blonde mullet for some reason.
Rock and roll is here to stay. We ain't here to play. So I thought it was interesting, in all seriousness, that was interesting that they're already building up the next big show when we haven't even gotten through this one. You know, it's almost like they're saying, Golden Week 94, it doesn't matter what happens because we're already telling you the big show is coming up on April 1st.
I don't think the Big Show is even debuted in WCW yet.
No, but Ron Reese has actually debuted in professional wrestling. So
Oh, how about that?
The Yeti is already at his first match.
He should have been Prince Karras. Probably would have been better.
I don't know. Ron Reese, he wasn't exactly setting the world on fire either.
Okay,
Well,
he lost to Juventud one time, and that was cool. And then he got jackhammered by Goldberg one time, and that was cool.
indeed, he did two more cool things than Prince Karras has ever done.
That's
Admittedly.
true. That's true. Well, okay, Prince Karras did get rid of Tim Warner.
Now, would you say humping Hulk Hogan is cool?
Oh, no, because I saw a video about that one. Never mind.
Wow.
I did not watch that video. I read a
Did Hulk Ho-
description.
I am just gonna go on and assume you're talking about something else. So up next we had Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn. They are the team of Well Done, taking on Robbie Eagle and El Hijo del Santo. This is one of those shows where we're like chopping stuff off. Eagle and Santo didn't
Yeah.
even get an introduction this week.
No.
Now, as I mentioned, I love it when former enemies can put aside their differences and come together for a common bond. And Robbie
Yeah.
Eagle and El Hijo del Santo did that here this week.
Well, they weren't really enemies. That was just a spirit of competition. I mean, that wasn't a grudge match. Larry Santos' name just came out of the hat. By the way, Dutch saying that Robbie Eagle at one time the TV champion, that was last week, Dutch.
Yes, I noticed that too. Uh, So Daryl
Oh,
Van Horn joins the announce table, and he was very Daryl Van Horn. He said he
yes.
may go and find a tag team, take Well Done and send him to the University of Cairo. Uh, and he says that Smoky Mountain is discriminating against Prince Karis because he's Egyptian, which is tremendous. And then
Yeah.
well-pinned Eagle after Dunn used a flying forearm. And I guess flying is a strong word. He
Uh,
he went in the direction of a flying forearm.
a jumping forearm.
I don't even, like I think much like what's his name on Mid-South this week, one of his feet didn't leave the ground.
Oh, what if Ed Siegel had to take that move from Well Done? How would that have gone?
I mean, can we prove that Robbie Eagle is not Ed Siegel?
I don't want to do this right now. I
Okay.
was most entertained by Daryl Van Horn, and then I started thinking that like it would be just because it would be entertaining to me because Dutch is about to leave. I wish it would be like Bob and Daryl Van Horn, but I know that would drive Bob crazy. But then I thought what would really be funny is if we could get the time machine working, and then world class commentary was Bill Mercer and Daryl Van Horn.
That would be a tremendous tag. Oh Lord. Or tremendous announce team, excuse me. So let's go to a promo with the team of Well Done.
Dutch, you're right, and I tell you, these two men right here, they bring with them to Smoky Mountain Wrestling a tremendous reputation, and I think after watching them in the
Shut
ring, you're all
up,
agreeing
Mr.
they're
We
going to
got
live up
something
to
to
it.
say.
Stephen Dunn.
Give me a microphone. Listen up. It's like we said. There's only one reason we're here in Hillbilly Heaven, baby. Smoky Mountain Wrestling. That's because the top tag team competition is right here. Now the WWF. They bring in guys like the Rock and Roll Express. They bring in guys like the Heavenly Bodies. Put them on pay-per-view. Give them the big money. Well, I'll tell you what. If you won't come to us, we'll come to you. Ain't that right, Timothy?
Amen.
That's right. You know, we hear there's this new tag team called the Thrillseekers coming to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Well, that's fine and dandy. You got a big reputation. That's what we're looking for. And this big loser league tail match between the Rock and Roll Express and the Heavenly Bodies. Somebody's doing somebody a favor because they ain't got to face us. Ain't that right, Steven? Absolutely, Mr. Well.
Well done, fans. You're going to hear a lot from them. We'll be
Okay, I'll be honest, I did not think this was a very good promo for Well Done.
I didn't either, but I don't think I've ever seen a Well Done promo that I thought was very good.
I mean, good may be a strong word, but I thought their debut promo was a lot smoother. I thought, and this might tell you because, they're still pretty green, that last week it was a very rehearsed, we're new to the territory. Here's some generic, gibberish, Mr. Well, thank you, Mr. Dunn. And this week it didn't feel very rehearsed, which I guess is a good thing to some degree, but it didn't make for a very good promo this week.
Well, I certainly agree that this was not a good promo.
All right, so from here, let's go to Dick Murdoch, and that's going to segue into that Bullet Bob promo that they tried to play earlier.
Oh, the telephone lines are burning. Every day I'm getting a call. Every day, and the offer's going up. Mama Cornette's giving me just a few more dollars. And let me tell you something. See, Armstrong, I am without a doubt the nastiest, the filthiest, the dirtiest, the slimiest, the stinkingest individual you'll ever know. See, Armstrong, we go back in this profession. See, we know what wrestling's all about. We know it's not 94 clotheslines and all this. We know it's getting down in the mud and the blood and the beer. So let me tell you something, Armstrong. See, you thought you were being real smart once you won your commissioner's chair back and you're allowed to wrestle again. Well, see,
You forgot one thing when you let little Jimmy boy predict and take a partner of his choice. You didn't think that I was still available. But see, Armstrong, I am still spending that last amount of cash that Mama Cornette sent me for whipping you the last time I was there. So Smoky Mountain Wrestling, get ready, lock the doors, because this could go through the building, this could go out in the parking lot, this could go in the toilets. And Armstrong, let me tell you something. Every time those stinking hillbillies and Brad hillbillies out there start chanting for you, you see, it just makes me want to whoop you a little bit more. Because see, Armstrong, people in Texas, we have pride. We know who our mother and fathers are. Do you? So get ready, Armstrong. I'm on the way. Mama Cornette, keep the telephone ringing. Jimmy, you just sleep good at night, relax, keep your feet up on the sofa, keep eating them Whataburgers, baby, because I will protect you.
You know, everybody I talk to is talking about Golden Week 94. It's the biggest event so far promoted in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. They've had some big things, but this is the biggest of all. Everybody, it's on everybody's lips, and I'm especially proud. I'm especially proud to talk about it with them because I'm involved directly this time. You know, I became commissioner again, and they let me have one little stipulation. I can wrestle if I need to, and there's one thing I need to do, and that's take care of you, Jim Cornette, for all you put me through and my good friend, the Bullet. Now, you're just like that little kid on the block that gets everybody else to fight and sits down and laughs at everybody. Well, this time, Golden Week 94, you've got to do your own fighting, and still you couldn't do it by yourself. Oh, I'll wrestle you, but I've got to have a partner, thinking that I won't get by somebody to get to you. So you've got a big man, Captain Redneck himself, Dick Murdoch, about 290 pounds. Well, I ain't afraid of him, but I respect him, and I will take a beating from him just to get to you. Because when I do get to you and lay it on you, I'm going to drop you like a 22 in a hog heads, boy, right to your knees. Ooh, when I got you on your knees, I'm going to show you what bad to the bone really means. Because you see, all I got to do is pop this towel, find me a phone booth, jump in them wrestling boots, jump in that wrestling outfit, and I am ready to go. And Golden Week 94, brother, it's my time to return the favor. I always pay my debts, and I owe you on Golden Week 94.
So, do you think the Bullet and Bob Armstrong share the same tights? I mean, they're
Yes.
similarly designed, but do you think they're the same tights, or do you think they just went to like the same person to make them?
Well, maybe, you got a point, because they do look the same. Maybe, hey, you know what? I just figured it out. I know who the Bullet is.
Is it Dick Murdoch?
No, it's Bullet Bob's long lost brother, Jim Durango. Or John Durango, whichever one Bullet Bob was. It's John Durango.
Holy crap, why did we not see that coming?
I don't know. I don't know why I didn't figure it out immediately. I don't know why it took me this long.
Yeah.
So obvious.
So I guess, okay, so try to steer this serious. I'm honestly a little sad that Corny never brought Dick Murdoch in as a full-timer in the territory. Kind of like how they used Paul Orndorff and even Ronnie Garvin early on. And you wonder if, well, maybe Murdoch, his price was a little too high to come in full-time, maybe. Or I guess also, like, they're really on a roll here. They don't need to have the legends of wrestling in as a full-time guy like they did with Orndorff.
Yeah, and I guess maybe by the time they really needed him, they couldn't afford him.
There you go. So Bullet Bob is going to drop Cornette like a 22 to a hog's head, which, thankfully,
That's
Bullet
evocative
Bob,
imagery.
yes, Bullet Bob will not be allowed to bring his 22 to the arena.
That's a
I'm
relief.
fairly certain about that anyway. So Mama Cornette is giving up a few extra dollars so Dickie can protect her boy.
Well, nothing but the best for Jimmy.
Yes. Okay. It's time for the best thing to happen on this show in a little bit. And keep in mind, all the good shit we've seen on these shows, we're about to one up all of them. Let's go to Primetime Brian Lee and Tammy Fytch, who are sitting by with Bob Caudle.
All right, fans, primetime Brian Lee and Miss Tammy Fytch right here with us. You're all excited this week.
Oh, I am so excited. We have put together a training video of me. I'm going to be ready for this. I know I'm going to win. I'm going to be ready. We put together a video. It's not Cindy Crawford. It's not Jane Fonda. It's me, only me. Tammy.
All right, I want to see that. Let's watch it, fans. Let's watch it.
Okay. So last week, we were wondering if, in fact, Tammy Fytch was going to have a training video to build up her mixed tag team match in a few weeks, where she and Primetime Brian Lee are going to go 2-on-2 with Dirty White Boy and Trae's girlfriend, Dirty White Boy and Trae's girlfriend, Dirty White Girl. And this was everything you could ever dream of. You know, for all of the talk about the Thrillseekers videos, you know, it's like this was even better than anything the Thrillseekers have ever done. We start with
So much better.
And by the way, it was set to the theme from Rocky, not Eye of the Tiger, but the other one.
Gonna fly now.
Yes, and it started like it started half serious. Tammy's running up and down like 6 stairs. Like, okay, it's a little prissy, but she's getting in some exercise here. Then you see her head. This is going to sound really bad, but I'm just going to say it. You see her head bobbing up and down on the screen.
Yeah.
And turns out what she's doing is she's sitting on Brian Lee's back while he does push-ups. And apparently Brian Lee passed out from this. Then they were
phenomenal.
Then they were doing bounce passes with a basketball, and she broke a nail, which that sucks.
Oh yeah.
Then I guess the running up and down the steps was too much for her, so she was on Brian's back while he ran the steps.
Well, don't work hard, work smart.
Exactly. Then she's running on the road, and Candido is driving by in a car, encouraging her on. And the next thing you see is them switching places, and Candido is running on the road while Tammy is driving. Oh, yes. Lord.
This was phenomenal.
She was on an exercise bike, but we pan down, and Candido is moving the pedals for her.
At one point, she is lying on the couch doing leg bends, but she's like eating potato chips while she's doing it.
Although she was playing table tennis at one point and scored a point on somebody. So maybe it was Margie,
Yeah.
And yeah, she was eating chips while drinking wine and doing leg bends. And also she did sit-ups, but when she sat up, she was painting her nails. I mean, we'll still count that as exercise because, yeah, she's painting her nails, but she still had to do the sit-up. So
yeah, it's a partial credit.
So that was tremendous. But then we had to have a rebuttal. And Tammy was not happy with the rebuttal because, well, we had to then see Dirty White Girl training for the match. And let's just say she took it a lot more serious than Tammy did. It was set for, she works hard for the money. At one point, she's glaring at the camera while lifting dumbbells. Then she's at the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Training School, out wrestling the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Champion. Where's Horner when you needed to stretch somebody? However, and I gotta tell you, Trae, I've watched a lot of wrestling in my life. She was throwing some of the worst punches I've ever seen in a wrestling ring.
This video made me feel ways about stuff.
Tell us more. How did it make you feel?
She was so cute in her little outfit.
Yes, Tammy was really cute in her little outfit.
Oh, shut up.
But yeah, this was an excellent piece of business. It was exactly what we all thought it would be.
Yes.
She really needs to work on those punches, though. Like that was just. Has she ever thrown a punch in her life? Maybe not, but still.
Not a working punch.
Well, but even when she was like
She's.
throwing them at the camera, like
I don't know. I
but
don't know.
still,
She seems like the type. She seems like the type to scratch a bitch's eyes out.
well, after we saw video number 2, we go back and Tammy is upset.
She is more than ready, wouldn't you say?
Brian! What are we gonna do? She's out there looking like Mike Tyson, and she's lifting weights, and she's boxing, and she's
Okay,
banging.
hold up. 1 second.
What?
All I've heard you do is whine, whine, whine. Just please quit whining. I'm going to take care of it. I promise you I'll take care of it. Before this match comes up, I'm going to think of something. I'll take care of Dirty White Girl and Dirty White Boy. But please, for now, quit whining. I'm sick and tired of hearing
Brian,
it.
don't yell at
Come on.
me!
Tammy, Fytch, primetime, Brian Lee.
Do you think Roderick Strong was watching this episode of Smoky Mountain Wrestling when he got the inspiration for the Adam?
Almost certainly. Why wouldn't he have been? Where else would that come from?
Yeah. So Primetime Brian Lee is starting to stand up to Tammy, and I mean he's done it a couple times now recently. He is not happy with his manager, and now he's got to figure out a way to take out the white girl before their match coming up.
I wrote Horsehead is tired of her tantrums.
Good old Horsehead. Well,
It's a fair description.
then it was time for this week's Beat the Champ match. It was the TV champion, the Hornet, versus the Dirty White Boy with the Dirty White Girl. And I don't want to accuse wrestling of being fake or, not on the up and up, but they were selling it too hard that the Hornet was going to get beaten this week. I'm like, okay, I don't know how, but Hornet's going to still be the champion after this. And sure enough, Primetime Brian Lee hit the ring for the disqualification, attacking, and this is key, he hit the ring and attacked the Dirty White Boy, and the bell rang signified a disqualification.
Yes.
So that means Hornet retains the TV title. White Girl knocks out the Hornet, and because he's the Hornet and not the Horner, I'm not going thunder rolls and the lightning strikes. But yeah, White Girl hit the Hornet and knocked him the fuck out. Tracy Smothers ran in to go after Tammy, but she ran to the hills. And you can say, oh, he was running after Primetime Brian Lee. Primetime Brian Lee was already on the floor, and he ran in the direction of Tammy.
Yeah.
And poor Hornet was out for a good 30 seconds. So we really need to get smelling salts for the poor guy.
Yeah, well, he's I just, is this the first time ever that a defending champion got the already standing in the ring entrance?
I think so. If, like, the only other way is if, like, they both were already in the ring. Kind of thing.
Yeah, because they did that when like Robbie Eagle and
Larry
like even like
Santo.
Bobby Blaze. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dutch popped me when he was talking about the Dirty Whites, boy and girl, and he goes, their name is Dirty. I changed my name to Doctor.
That is true.
Anyway.
By the way,
also,
and the reason
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Since the Dirty White Girl knocked out the Hornet, as far as I'm concerned, the Dirty White Girl is the linear Beat the Champ TV champion.
So the reason why I made sure to emphasize that Primetime Riley attacked White Boy is because
Uh-huh.
later on they announced
Mm-hmm.
that due to this, the Hornet wins by disqualification.
Yeah, that was very confusing.
I think they done fucked up. I think they meant to point out because the rules of Beat the Champ are, you know, they cannot lose the Beat the Champ on a count out or disqualification. So even if the other guy wins by count out, it doesn't mean that you beat the champ. So the Hornet would still get $1,000 and is still the champion, even though White Boy won the match.
I think the
But
beat the champs. I think the beat the champs should change on account out of disqualification.
I agree. And I think if you have a draw, the title should be held up.
I wouldn't do that.
No?
Because it is beat the champ. You didn't beat the champ. If the champ got counted out, you did beat the champ.
Very true. All right. So after commercial, we came back for a Dirty White Boy promo. Let's go to that now.
Well, fans, we saw her training just a few moments ago. We saw some of the results of that in the ring earlier. The Dirty White Girl, I would say she is ready. Hey, don't ever get her mad at you guys.
Man, that was quicker than Sugar Ray Leonard has ever put anybody out. Now, Tammy Fytch, I think you have just got a small bird's eye view of what the Dirty White Girl is all about. Just imagine if she knocked a full-grown man out. Just imagine what she's going to do to that turkey head of yours, White Girl.
I'm so damn mad right now I could spit nails, but I tell you something, sweetie. The next one is for you, and when I hit you, you ain't gonna worry about going nowhere else, because your managing position is... Woo!
It's time to rock and roll. Let's go, baby.
Ooh-wee, mixed tag team action, fans. They're coming to Smoky Mountain.
Okay, you know who Primetime Riley needs to bring in to take out Dirty White Girl?
Who's that?
Stella Mae French.
Well, why would Stella Mae French align herself with Horsehead?
Who knows? But I think Stella Mae French and Dirty White Girl, that could be an interesting one-on-one there.
They should do like I don't know. They should do some kind of tag match. The Dirty White Girl and Stella Mae French against Tammy Fytch and Precious.
Well, do you remember how before she ended up getting the run in the WWF, Lawler brought Mae Young into Memphis
Yes.
in like 1999 as Sean Stasiak's, was it his mom or his grandmother?
Yeah, his mom. I think it was his mom, yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Bring in Mae Young as Brian Lee's mom.
Oh, that would be tremendous. Yeah, that'd be tremendous.
Oh Lord. So yeah. By the way, I should note he bragged about how she knocked out the Hornet quicker than any of Sugar Ray Leonard's opponents. Well, typically Sugar Ray Leonard's opponents weren't standing there with their hands down by their side.
No, I think that's usually frowned upon in boxing.
Yes. So I'm happy you knew the sport.
I know that much.
Oh, I don't know. I know you're not a sports ball person.
No, I'm not, but I like fighting.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So we have an intro to this week's Thrillseekers video, and it's with Lance Storm of all people. Let's go to Lance, who's going to introduce this week's Thrillseekers video.
Chris and I tagged up together as the Thrillseekers. We knew we made the right choice. No one else, anywhere we went, no one else put in the time and the effort we did. I've been training for 12 years for this sport. Chris, almost the same. Every day we go into that gym, 2-3 hours working hard to get the job done. Nobody else anywhere puts in the time and the effort that the Thrillseekers do to be number one.
Do you think Lance said that part about how Chris has been training almost as long to try to pop Jericho?
Probably. I guess
All right.
Lance did show up at the Pinoca Moose Lodge first. He was already there when Jericho pulled in, I think.
There you go. Yeah, because Jericho got out of and needed help with his trunk.
Yep.
So this video, I'll be honest, I didn't think it was as good as last week's video, at least in the horniness factor, at least till the end. This week they were at the gym, and they were working out at the gym. We at one point got a close-up of Chris Jericho's ass while he did squats. And then after the workout, they returned to their hotel room, or they returned to the hotel where they didn't notice until after they opened the hotel room door that there were two girls standing there waiting to sex them up. And then the four of them not only went into one hotel room, they didn't even go into the same hotel room. They went into a different one than Jericho threw his bags into.
Okay. I'm gonna rationalize this. The young women were in the next room over, and that's why they did not see them until after they had opened their door, because that's when they stepped out of the adjacent door, and then they went into the girls' room, which I don't know why they didn't split rooms, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, you got to save money. It's not what you make, it's what you save.
Yeah, exactly. And they've just moved to the United States, and money's tight. You gotta.
Exactly.
The look. I'm sorry. The look on Jericho's face. You have never seen a more "I am being forced against my will to smile" face.
I gotta say, have these two never had sex before? They were they were I don't know. I don't know if eager is the right word, but yeah.
Well, as Cornette said, Storm was married and Jericho was picky.
And it's funny because like these are not terribly unattractive women, you know.
The redhead wasn't bad.
No. But it's like, yeah, they Jericho was picky. It's all you can say, I guess. And I know don't we get at least one more? Because I mean, I knew they had
there's 3.
this video. Okay. So yeah, next week, the this is the penultimate. Next week's the final Thrillseekers video.
So
Hopefully
that means last week was the semi-penultimate video.
There you go.
Great word.
Yes. Now, I will say, I think part of the reason why this video didn't click as much this week was because we just saw those Dirty White Girl and Tammy Fytch videos, and like the Thrillseekers were not in the same league as those videos.
Okay, so this was very clear. This was the video to entice the young women in the Smoky Mountain region that there were these hot new baby faces coming in, and I mean like hot in the like they did emphasize Jericho's ass. So Arya,
Yes.
as a lady, were you enthused about this incoming tag team?
Well, I mean, I was extra enthused when I saw how low their standards were for women to boink. So I'm like, man, maybe I could get down there. Apologies to Lance and Chris. Oh, Lord.
Oh.
Hot Sauce Tracy Smothers versus Dr. Thomas Prichard with Jim E. Cornette. And yes, I know Hot Sauce was the nickname of Tracy Williams, not Tracy Smothers. But what do you think was a dumber nickname in wrestling? Hot Sauce for Tracy Williams or Right Leg for Andy Rich?
Always kind of liked Hot Sauce Tracy Williams, and I don't know, like, what was Andy Ridge's deal? Was he knocking people out like Mirko Krokop? Because that'd be a cool name.
I don't actually know, to be honest.
Too bad.
By the way, Ian Riccaboni has re-signed with AEW/Ring of Honor.
Good. Wonderful news. He is a wonderful commentator and just overall a credit to the wrestling business. Seems like a lovely, lovely man.
He is a gentleman and a scholar, literally.
Indeed.
Um,
Yeah.
so how do you think they're handling this $2,500 in the ladder match? Like, are they taking the cash and putting it in a bag? Or it's like, are they like hanging up $100 bills and you got to go up and grab whoever grabs the most $100 bills wins?
Okay, I don't know if I have seen this match before or not, but I have a memory in my mind of seeing Candido climb a crappy wooden ladder and pulling down an envelope. And I don't know if that's just something the AI in my brain invented or if I saw that match somewhere or what the fuck.
You think the same person that made the crappy wooden cage made the crappy wooden ladder?
Well, you can just go to you just go buy a crappy wooden ladder. I feel like you have to have a cage special ordered.
I wrote this is our quarterly 3-star TV match. You may disagree that it may not be quite that high, but I thought I'd give it 3 stars. Jimmy Del Rey came down for immoral support. I wrote immortal support. I don't think it was immortal support. But Tracy missed the top rope crossbody. Rock and Roll hit the ring that cheered Tracy on. Tracy goes for the jaw jacker, but Del Rey pushes him off the top rope. Then, while Del Rey distracted the referee, the Rock and Rolls clothesline Prichard, and Tracy got the pin.
Love Cornette's purple blazer. I think he had it on in the match. He definitely had it on in the local promo right before. It was fantastic, and I also enjoyed him saying "Get away from me! I hate you!" when the cameraman got in his face. That was fun. But yeah, this was good. Like we don't get a whole lot of competitive singles matches between guys this good. And so then our scumbag comes out just to offer moral support for his friend, not to interfere or anything. And then those damn Rock and Roll Express come out, and you know they're up to something. So now it's 3-on-1 against poor Tom Prichard because Cornette is just a manager, and Jimmy's just out there for moral support. But now that his friend is in a 3-on-1 situation, Jimmy has no choice but to step in and even the odds. But then somewhere in the confusion, that damn Rock and Roll Express snuck in and hit Tom with a violent, devastating double clothesline and handed Tracy Smothers the win.
Well, next week, the Rock and Rolls may be getting theirs because they are going to be going 2-on-2 with Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn. They are the team of Well Done.
Well, hopefully that match is well done.
Yes. So 110 down, 90 to go. That was how Smoky Mountain went off the air. And does this mean now Tracy is moving into contention for the Smoky Mountain heavyweight title?
Probably not.
By the way, on NXT this week, Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe slapped hands.
Like, in what context?
Like Jordan held her hand up and Blake slapped it.
Okay. So were they in a match together, or was it like how did they?
No, I don't know. The CW just posted a GIF of it, but I don't think it was a
Okay,
match
well.
because Mariah's in a skirt.
Well, that's good. They're both very talented wrestlers. They should high five each other in celebration of that.
Yes, there you go. All right, so we're done a little quickly today.
Yeah. What's wrong with us?
I don't know. We need something to talk about.
What happened in wrestling this week?
What was that?
What happened in wrestling this week?
Oh, Dynamite was last night. It was their 300th episode. It was quite the program, you know.
No, I meant our week that we're covering. Oh, nothing, because there was no observer. Shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh,
Um, Chad Gable
uh,
underwent shoulder surgery, and I hear out of sympathy, El Grande Americano also went under shoulder surgery.
well, what a guy. What a guy that Grande Frappuccino, whatever his name is.
Yes.
How did Jay like his first indie show?
He did enjoy it. For those not paying attention, I took my partner to his first indie show, and he enjoyed it except the women's match, which was the opener, because it was too choreographed, and the main event because he doesn't like weapons matches.
I don't either, pretty much. That's cool. That's cool. I went to Spark Joshi Pro Res, their Ignite Texas show this past Sunday, and that was a very good time. I'm not like a I don't it wouldn't normally be my beat, but then like look, you got Hazuki and Koguma and Miyu Yamashita and Yuka Sakazaki wrestling like 30 minutes from my house. I'm not made of stone. So yeah, I went to that and it was a very good time. And we ended up Koguma was injured, so we got B Priestley as a substitute. That was pretty decent. And yeah,
That's a
support
pretty good
independent wrestling.
substitute.
Yeah, yeah, satisfactory. Actually, I gotta say, Jasmine Allure, AEW Dark alumna. I saw her there. This match that she and B Priestley had, I gotta say, it was a hell of a match, and I did not know that Jasmine Allure could throw down like that.
Didn't you say that it was like pretty much all AEW Dark uh alumnus
Okay, it was
outside of the top of the card?
okay, let's go through the card. Okay. The main event was Hazuki from Stardom against Maya World, who's a she's from Houston. I think she's a Booker T student. And she's been on AEW Dark and did she did an enhancement match on the last Dynamite that I went to. The semi-main was Vert Vixen, AEW Dark alumni, defending the Spark Joshi Pacific Championship in a three-way against Miyu Yamashita from Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling and Erica Demia, who I did not know, but she actually won the title when so Miyu Yamashita, I don't know if you know, she does basically like the Aleister Black knockout head kick. It's called Crash Rabbit Heat. So
Okay.
She kicks Vert Vixen in the head and knocks her out. And then Eric Academia gets like right up behind her in like the classic schoolboy trip somebody position and trips her and then scoops over and steals the pin. And as far as like doing a stealing the pin finish, that was a good one. Yuka Sakazaki from AEW and Rachel Rose, Texas wrestler, AEW Dark alumni, against Saki, who I have seen a few times. I think she's a freelancer. I don't think she's affiliated with any other promotions in Japan. I think she works everywhere. And Kaya McKenna, independent wrestler, who I think was a Dark alumni. And then B Priestley against Jasmine Allure. And then the opening match, I think was all Texas wrestlers, but it was actually very good. Charity King and Callie and Tita defeated Key Vibes and Ridley Thorne. And Charity King and Ridley Thorne were they had quite an entertaining little Hawset fight. I'll say that.
So overall, would you say that was a good show?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it was just like it was an easy drive, and it was at like a community center in a suburb of Houston, so it was really easy to get into, and it was uh ticket. I was like a what I would consider a little pricey for an independent show, but I was okay with it because of the level of talent that they're bringing in. I understand flights from Japan ain't cheap, so yeah, I
Yep.
overall good experience and would recommend if Spark Joshi Pro Wrest comes to your area, you'll probably have a good time.
Now, may I ask how much did that cost you?
Oh, I got a front row seat. It was $100.
Oh wow, yeah, that's how did they draw? Like,
I almost could have counted. I think it was about 75.
okay. I mean, with front row at $100, I'm actually a little surprised by that.
Front row was pretty well sold out. Yeah, it
Interesting.
wasn't set up for very much.
Um, yeah. So yeah, our show, we sat. Well, we got the GA, so we could sit anywhere with the front row. It was $20.
Nice. Yeah. I think I only paid maybe like $30 a piece for my Dynamite and Collision tickets.
I, oh my God. So TNA, we mentioned this. TNA is coming. Um, Kingston, Rhode Island, I think, in a couple of weeks. And so I went online to see how much the tickets were. They were like 50 something dollars plus fees. I'm like, I love the TNA, but I think I'm gonna wait to see if those prices go down.
So 50 like for
For
ringside or for just like
no general admission.
stands?
Yeah.
Well, for like TV,
Yeah.
I don't with expensive as things, I don't know. I see what you mean. I would probably pay it, but I see what you mean. It's since I just said that like I both in February and the ones that are coming up next week, I got Dynamite and Collision seats that I was very happy with for very cheap.
Yeah, that's good. Let me see here. Trying to pull up the page as we're talking about this.
By the way, I'm still looking for
And
something
it's
to do next Friday as I guess I'm gonna sit in my hotel room and play pro wrestling sim all day. See if I can make some
we
headway.
uh are you saying you're gonna be calling me while I'm in Vermont saying we need to do a Friday night spot show?
If only they just put up the 1985 Great American Bash.
They did. We may have
Yeah.
to have do a show here.
Yeah, after all the festivities.
Sure, sure. They actually just put up 4 hours of Bret Hart stuff. So
I saw
um
they put up the El Dandy promo.
they had that up though. They had that on WWE.com at one point too. So it's WWE
Yeah.
is very aware of
Yeah.
that meme. Took them a decade, but they're embracing it finally.
That was a really big meme in the internet wrestling community 20 years ago.
Yes, it was like the mid 2000s when that because that came out.
Yeah.
That was discovered the same time as the I don't know promo. Oh God.
Good
It also
times,
was
good
like
times.
it also reminded me of how annoying the internet wrestling community could be, especially with memes like that. 'Cause it was like non-fucking stop, you know.
If I see one more fucking picture of no people and a John Cena, I'm gonna fucking rip my brain out and set it on fire.
So you don't want me posting a picture of me by myself saying, "Hey, I met John Cena."
I will quit.
All right. So if I ever want to piss you
Don't
off, I know what to do.
like you don't fucking just practice pissing me off like it's a religion.
I do not practice pissing you off. I just piss you off.
Well, you're greatest natural talent sport has ever seen.
Feel the love over here. Feel the fucking love. Anyway, um, people have been saying that these shows go too long, so let's see if we get more listeners this week since we're only going like an hour and 10 minutes. So
Yeah. Okay.
all right, so that's gonna do it for this week's show. I'm gonna go to sleep. Trae, I'm sure, is gonna be up to like 3 in the morning watching wrestling. Nothing wrong with either of our approaches. But until next time, thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.